Hey there. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Space Care is Self-Care. I am live for 6 weeks to talk about mindful and intentional decluttering and how it can brighten up homes, lives, and communities. So I'm Ali Canita. I am a professional organizer and decluttering coach. My mission is to bring clarity and empowerment in businesses, homes, and individuals. I am a professional member of the National Association of Productivity and Organizing Professionals, an ICF executive coach, and a certified meditation and mindfulness teacher. So all these I bring into different ways I serve. I coach individuals for clarity and alignment and transformation. I speak in events and corporate workshops. I also help families declutter and organize their homes ready for a new chapter. So basically, I advocate for space care being a form of self care through mindfulness and intentionality. Okay, so let me just check the chat if I see some messages here. And while I do that, I will put in my banners there. So if you're watching me, you can tell me who you are if I can see it in the comment section. Last week, we spoke about using intentions to drive you in your decluttering journey. Were you able to catch this? Hi, Jam. Nice to see you again. And as a recap, intentions are basically what you want to achieve or experience out of making tidy spaces. So, this intention, if you have it from our last session, this intention can eventually lead you to making decluttering and organizing a habit instead of just an annual project, or maybe because Christmas is coming, you would have to do it, or because New Year is also coming, or maybe a guest will be coming over. That's why you're decluttering. But if you have a specific intention that's really close to your heart, that's really coming from your heart, then it could actually become a habit that you can do to maintain your spaces. And yesterday, in a face-to-face workshop, we translated intention into Tagalog, and it came out as, anong gusto ko? Ano ba talaga ang gusto ko? O ano ang sadya ko? Bakit ko ba ito gusto gawin? Right? And when this is clear, your intention, yung gusto mo or your sadya, when this is clear, the hows become clearer and the whats become achievable, right? When I shared with you the Golden Circle by Simon Sinek. And now today, I will be talking about, very important, the cost of clutter. How much is your clutter costing you? So get a pen and paper if you want to calculate, because I will be sharing with you 4 formulas. Just kidding. So get a pen and paper because we're going to make a very basic calculation. And maybe also a tape measure because it will help you with your with your computation in a bit. So if you have any questions, feel free to type it in the comment section and I'll go through it later. So yeah, si Jam mentioned that I need to declutter my mails. Yes, it's possible. And there's maybe if you have a specific intention, or if you next week, this session will also help you to map out how does it flow in your space so you know how to take care of them. And hi, Kay. Hello, hello. Welcome to my simple talk. So are you ready? Are you ready? I'm going to share my screen because I'm going to, hold on. Tama ba? I hope I don't share everything here. Clutter. Clutter is costly. Let me share this one. Yep. There. All good. So clutter is costly. And why is this so? Hold on, because I'm going to show you my first formula. The first formula is, what if your the first computation is related to your clutter um renting your space. So how much is the rent of your clutter? So get the amount of your monthly rent or amortization, or if your space has already been fully paid, if you were to rent it out, how much it would be. So let's say you have a rough number of 20,000 pesos or 10,000 pesos or whatnot. And divide this number by the floor area, to get the rent per square meter. Sounds cool, right? And then this number that you get, you multiply this by the area occupied by your clutter. And then that's the amount your clutter is actually renting. So how does it look like? So let's say when you have already calculated with your tape measure that your clutter is actually taking up 10 square meter of space that's equivalent to one bedroom, more or less. So let's say your one bedroom is occupied by clutter. So imagine having like a bed spacer or a renter in that bedroom. And basically you multiply this 10 square meter of space to 500 pesos per square meter. This is about 5,000 pesos a month, right? So if there's a specific amount already per square meters, the usual rent in your space, then you can actually use that and then multiply this by the space occupied by your clutter. Okay ba? So some people, they're like, whoa, pwede pala yun. You can actually calculate how much clutter is costing you. And this is about it. Some people, they rent a storage unit. So roughly, it would cost about 9,000, 15,000, depending how big your storage unit is. So if you're just storing things that you do not need anymore, things that you won't be using in the future, or things that you think you might be using in the future and it's just disintegrating in that place, then maybe you're putting in more of your overhead or expenses for your household by the space your clutter is actually occupying. Yan. Nakahabol ba? We're able to calculate. So if you have questions, just type in the chat. Hi, June. Yeah, so how much is the rent of your clutter? That's the first one. So are you ready for the second one? I don't want to be too fast because this is all math. And I'm not so good at math. Medyo A lang yung joke lang. But because this is math and this is entails some calculation, maybe it's also taking some time to really understand it. Yeah. Hi, Doc Liz. So there. So what if that actual space is used for something else? For your gym, or your prayer room, or your office? Then that place is more productive than the clutter because clutter isn't bringing in anything anymore. Could be actually mostly things that are not helping you out because it's just stagnant spot in your home. All right, so for the next calculation is this. So because of clutter, it could also be very confusing, very chaotic. And because of clutter, because you do not know where to find things, most of the time, we're spending time looking for misplaced item. So how much is your talent fee being spent on searching? So a study showed that in an average, an executive spends about 150 hours a year searching for lost information. And so if ballpark 150 hours a year searching for something, you can compute for your hourly rate and multiply this by 150. And that's how much clutter is costing you based on the time, on the talent fee, or the amount of the time that you are spending on just searching. So how does it look like? So by the way, I didn't invent all of these things. There's an actual study for that. Even the first one, there's another study for that. So if there's 150 hours a year spent on searching and that person is paid 1,000 per hour, that's 150,000 a year. So now you have your net pay or maybe your gross income, and then divided it to the hours you're working in a month, and then multiply this number to 150. That's how much your TF is spent on searching through your clutter. Let me see. So Jerwin says, "Hi Ali, I have a lot of clutter. Tenant need to kick them out." Yes. Diba? So if we don't look at it in this way, maybe we won't be really getting rid of them. So we have already shared two ways on how to calculate how much clutter is really costing you. And it's all based on time and money. The third one is based on also money. So looking at it, if you were able to do an inventory, how much do you spend on duplicates that you don't need, or triplicates or multiples that you don't actually need? Maybe this is related to number two because you cannot find them. You now buy something new, and then later on you'll find them that it's actually just missing. It was just hidden somewhere in one of your boxes. So another way to calculate how much clutter is costing you is by conducting an inventory and putting an amount to every item that is redundant, that is not used, or even those that are expired, especially in those very deep pantries that you cannot see what to eat next. And so there, if this is taking up space, if this all clutter is taking up space, then you compute using our first formula. But if it's just the actual amount of stuff, then you can do it by assigning a specific amount to every item that you don't use, that is redundant, or those that have already expired. Is this relatable? Is what I'm sharing relatable? So cool, right? So another way is if you have a business, it could also be inventory that has been sitting in your warehouse for a long time. And it's actually costing you more because it depends on, so I don't want to really speak business, but um, it will also hit your overhead because you're paying for the warehouse. You're also paying for the cost of money that you acquired for the investment or your stocks that are not moving. So yeah, that's the third way to compute how much your clutter is costing you. So I wanted to add something to this about the duplicates, the triplicates, and the multiples. Um, but maybe if I remember it afterwards, I will share with you. Okay, so are you ready for the fourth one? So basically, but I'm just going to share with you four things anyway. So the fourth one, clutter adds to your stress level. And how much is it costing your health? And if health is wealth, then you can continue. But here, I'm going to share you a study that the presence of clutter increases stress. And we all know what stress brings us, how stress hits our health, and how health hits our wealth. So, and I'm just showing you maybe about, this is just two articles about it, but there are tons and tons of articles relating clutter to the increase of cortisol levels. And increase in cortisol levels is a sign of stress, right? So, and we know that when there is chronic stress, there's also chronic cognitive impairment. It means you cannot stay focused. It's more difficult for you to comprehend things. It's even more difficult to understand things or to process things, right? And because of clutter, because there's so many things in our spaces um, competing for our attention, this can also cause fatigue. And not only that, if your bedroom is filled with clutter, you're unable to rest. You're unable to recuperate from a long day of work or exercise, right? And if clutter is also invading your living room, this can add to disharmony, which can even cause also fatigue. And stress in general really leads to weaker immune system. So not only that clutter is making you stressed, it's costing you money, time, and energy. It's basically costing you joy. It could be also costing you peace of mind, right? So if you have additions to my calculations, just feel free to type in the chat. And I will also open up to some questions if you have. But sige, since I still have time, ang bilis my presentation, but since I still have time, which one did you relate to the easiest? Was it number one? Wait, I'll go back. Number one, if clutter pays rent, how much is clutter? How much should you charge your clutter? Number two, How much time are you spending looking for misplaced items? And what is the TF? What is the amount that you should be paying yourself, right? Spent on searching. So this 150 hours, what if instead of searching for stuff, you're spending it for exercise, you're spending it for a vacation, you're spending it with your family. Number three, how much we spend on duplicates, triplicates, and multiples. So me, I think, so Jerwin is my neighbor, and I think most of my neighbors know that I always sell decluttered stuff whenever there's a bazaar in our community. And in just one weekend of selling stuff, I could earn 3,000, 5,000, up to even 15,000 just because I was able to look through the duplicates, triplicates, and multiples and turn it into money and just sitting on my inventory. Yeah, and last, clutter adds to your stress level, which is costing you your health. And yeah, we know that health is wealth. So this is really, clutter could be really costing you really bad if it's hitting your health, your sleep, your stress levels. So there you go. Clutter is costly. It costs money, it costs time, your energy, and your health. So I will stop sharing, and open for questions. I hope you enjoyed that. Did it give you a new perspective on how to look at clutter? Maybe I'm not seeing some of the comments. But yeah, if you have questions, just feel free to type in. And if you're watching replay, you can still type in the chat and I will in the comment section, and I will respond to you. Okay. Hi, Glory. Hi, Dondon. Wow, ang dami ng overstaying na tenants kong clutter, di nagbabayad. Diba? So, if clutter is a roommate or a tenant, how much are you going to charge them? Hi, Ate. Hi, Aris. And Doc Liz says it's relatable. Good thing it's relatable. All right, so there you go. It's just really a short one, but I hope you enjoyed it. So that wraps up our second week of Space Care is Self Care live series. Catch me again next week as we find out where you can start decluttering. I will teach you the technique called space mapping. So get ready with a pen and paper, and this is going to be another interesting session. So I hope you catch that one. For those who weren't able to watch the first one, it's really helpful because it's about creating your intention to get you moving with your decluttering journey. So it's not a project, it's a journey, guys. So there, thank you so much to everyone who tuned in today. Think about your intentions again and make that next step in creating spaces that care for you. Bye, everyone.